A lot of RV damage doesn't come from big mistakes or bad luck. It comes from small mistakes people don't even realize they're making. Now, we've been RVing full-time for over 7 years, and we really haven't had any massive repair bills. And again, it's not because we're just lucky. It's mainly because we've avoided the exact mistakes that ended up costing other RVers thousands. So, in this video today, I'm going to show you the most common ways many RVers accidentally destroy their rigs, and what to do instead, so it doesn't happen to you. And the first one is probably the most expensive. Hey guys, welcome back to Why Wait. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Chris, and today we're talking about 8 tips or guidelines that will basically prevent major damage to the RV. Now, we're not going to dive into each one of these subjects and really get into them because we have plenty of videos that will do that. We'll have those linked down below. I want to touch base on these 8 tips and guidelines and just kind of basic things you need to look out for and do. And if you want more information about each one, you can go down in the video description down below and click on the links to those videos. So let's jump right into it with number 1, tires.
Now, most RVers think their tires are fine because they look fine. Meanwhile, they're 5 or 6 years old, probably underinflated, and the bearings have never been greased. And that's how blowouts happen. That's where the danger comes in. That's where the expensive repair costs come in. Now, I don't want to get into everything that we do to prevent this because we have tons of videos on that. We have videos on how to repack your bearings, on how to check the proper tire inflation charts, and many, many more things. So we'll link those again down below if you want to go learn more about the subject. The idea here is that you need to be more familiar with tires and what needs to be done to prevent the blowouts, because that's where a major repair is going to happen, or a huge safety issue, because you're not just paying for the tire, you're going to have to pay for the skirting, the sidewall of the RV, and possibly a really bad accident. Now, knock on wood, 7 years of living and traveling around the country, we've never had a blowout. And I see stories where some people have had 5 or 6. That's probably not a coincidence. Listen, bad things will always happen on the road. Anyone can have a blowout. But I guarantee you, if you're doing these things, if you're running a tire pressure monitor system, you're checking the pressure, you're checking the heat, you're coming out here and visually inspecting them every time you stop, anytime you stop on the road. If you do some of these things and you're getting the bearings greased and things like that, you're probably not going to have a blowout.
Next up, the roof. Most RVers don't think about the roof until it leaks. Well, guess what? By then, it's too late because the water damage is already happening. You're talking mold, rot, insulation damage, and that's going to add up quick and be an expensive fix. So, what do? Well, the biggest thing you can do is actually get on the roof. I would set a regular routine, try to get up there maybe once a month and inspect things, because lots of times going down the road, hitting tree branches, storms, it's just, you don't know what's going on up there if you don't get up there and inspect it every once in a while. You want to check things like the sealant. You want to look for small punctures or holes in the roof membrane, because if you don't get up there, you're just never going to find these things, and it doesn't take a big hole for a lot of water damage to really add up. Now, Eternabond, that's something I did. I did a full project up there where I wasn't just repairing a hole. I went ahead and did a modification where I covered all my sealant up with Eternabond. Again, 2 videos on that if you want to go that route. You don't have to. It's something I believe in, something I chose to do. But even that is a small price to pay to prevent a major water damage down the road. The biggest takeaway here is that you want to get up there, and if you can't, get somebody else to get up there and inspect it often, because if you see something, you want to get on top of it and tackle it before it becomes a major issue. Number 3, DIY without knowing your limits. Now, there's a huge DIY culture in the RV world, which is great until it's not. Now, I'm a huge component of DIY with these. You don't want to take it to a repair shop. You don't want to call out a tech. You want to save some money. You want to do it all yourself. That's what I've been doing for 7 years living in it. I can't afford to take it somewhere and displace my family. So I've always been able to try to DIY the best I can. And that's what I want you guys out doing. That's what a big part of my channel is. Until it's a little bit more than you can handle. And I'm the same way. There's always been some things where I reach my limit where I know, like, okay, I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm out of my wheelhouse. This is a little bit more than I understand. But I tell you what's really helped me with that, and that is the rvtechcourse.com from the NRVTA. So I want to put a link down to that for anybody who's curious about this. Instead of having to go to the National RV Training Academy down in Texas, you can actually take an online course, and it's called the RV Fundamentals course. And I wish I had this before I started RVing, because this would have been a game changer for me. It's going to teach you so many things about these RVs that you probably don't know, didn't know, or wish you had known sooner, so that you can diagnose problems in the RV a lot quicker. The program is really great. It's an online program, and it's basically based on the week-long course that you can actually take down at the NRVTA. You can get this course online via thumbnail, or just have it readily available if you have an internet connection. There's 2 different prices, and you'll always have access to the information. So when you learn something, we all forget it, right? What's great about this is when your fridge craps out, you have a water heater problem, instead of trying to think, oh, I learned this, but I don't remember it, you will always have access to all the information, and you can go look up the problem, you can DIY it, you can troubleshoot it, you can probably fix it yourself, or at least have a good grasp of what's going on in case you need to call a tech. Because again, we're not all that, able to work on everything in here. A lot of us can only get so far, and then we've kind of reached our limit of DIY. But with this course, at least you're going to have a good idea when a repairman comes, or you call a tech, or whatever the case may be, to kind of at least steer him in the right direction, let him know what's going on already. But guys, if you're interested in it, check it out down below and use the code. You can save some money, and we'll move on from that. And that sort of leads us into the next one, and that is learning your systems, knowing your systems. And that's where the RVTechCourse.com is going to help as well, because it's going to teach and let you learn your systems with the RV. A lot of people don't know about their own RVs. They didn't take the time to read the manual or the books that come with it. And when you get the books, it's not fun, but I would really recommend going through the books, reading all about them, learning about the systems, learning about these lipper things, the jacks, the slide outs, how to manually do them. There's so much information in these books. And, it's like when you buy a new car, it actually tells you how to change your oil in the instruction book. It's kind of the same thing. Like everyone oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Well, and you don't need a professional. They put it in the manuals so that you can do it. That's why it's in the manual for the owner to learn how to do it. Because a lot of RV damage isn't bad luck. It's not knowing how your systems work. Water, electricity, DC, AC, propane, hydraulics. It's just people really honestly not understanding everything. And a lot of the damage comes from people sort of jacking things up themselves because they weren't too sure how systems worked. So yeah, it's not the exciting part of RV life, but it's what keeps things from going wrong. Here's one that nobody enjoys doing: resealing your RV. I personally hate doing this one, but it might be the most important thing you can do. A lot of people think if the roof is fine, then everything's fine, no water damage. Well, the entire RV is sealed with some sort of sealant, from the doors and the windows and every little baggage door. Everything you see has sealant on it somewhere. So over time, the sun is going to start to crack these, it's going to start to peel, and you're going to have RV damage inside the walls that you don't even know is going on. So what do? Well, we often come out here and inspect things. You want to look at your seals, you want to inspect them, you want to see if anything is peeling away, you want to see if anything is cracking, and you want to get on top of it right away. Now, what I used to do was I'd come out here and do a yearly resealing job, and I wouldn't recommend that because it's really hard. It takes a long time. A lot of times some of the sealant was okay and I'd still be replacing it and just making more work than I have to do. What I like to do is come out here every few months and do a small section and reseal it. Things like Lexel, ProFlex RV, plenty of videos on how to do that job, things I prefer, how to properly do it, the cleaning, the prep work, all that important stuff. But what you need to be doing is actually just coming out here and looking, getting intimate with the RV, as I like to call it. That's usually why I wash my RV by hand, because when I'm washing it by hand, I'm gonna go over everything and I'm gonna see everything, and that's when I start to notice problem areas. But it's not a fun job, nobody likes doing it. Hey, if you want to take it somewhere to get it done, it's going to cost thousands of dollars, but it needs to get done regardless. So add that to your list of regular routine maintenance. And real quick, since we're talking about preventing water leaks and water damage, I wanted to show you the latest and greatest from Blue Technology called the Water Stop. Now, what's really neat about this product is, unlike most water alarm detectors that just beep, flash, make noise, let you know something's leaking, the Water Stop by Blue Technology will actually shut the water down for you so that you don't get flooded. So if you're gone away from the camper, or if it's nighttime and you're sleeping and you get a catastrophic leak, it'll know about it, it'll shut it down, and it'll prevent any more water from going inside the camper. Now, it not only does that with sensors,
that you can place in strategic locations, but it also does it by monitoring your water system and the flow of water. So if you also have a small leak that you don't even know about, say a leak from your piping in your underbelly or something like that, it's going to monitor that over a specific time period, and it will also shut your water down at the source. One of a kind, never seen anything like that. It's pretty neat. It actually does a lot more as well. So if you guys want to go check out a full video about that, I'll put a link to that right up here. As always, we do have a code for Blue Technology stuff to save you some money as well. But yeah, go check out that video if you want to learn more about their latest and greatest.
And since we just got done talking about resealing the RV and inspecting that, that's going to lead us right into the next one, which is a huge one, and that's routine maintenance. Keeping up with routine maintenance. That's going to prevent so many issues from happening down the road. Now, again, it's easy to say, I'll put it off, I'll do it later. We all do it. I do it all the time. But I still have a routine maintenance schedule, and I do have it printed up, and I do go through it, and I do check it off, and I do at least read it and know, okay, I'm a little overdue, I need to get around to this. When we get to the next campground, we're gonna be here for a week, I have some time. You don't have to stick to it. It doesn't have to be like, set day, set time, but you wanna have something written down. That way you can at least reference it and re-jar your memory and be like, yeah, I need to lube these locks up. I need to go around and spray some Bow Shield T9 rust and corrosion prevention on my frame. I need to go through and lube up the awning arms. I need to inspect the generator. I mean, there is so much to do. But if you keep up with the routine maintenance, that's a huge one, guys. I work on tugboats, and everything we do out there, a lot of it is routine maintenance to keep up with the thing. Because if we have the routine maintenance going on, we're not going to have the major issues going on. You're going to prevent so much of the major issues. So that's a quick one. It's an easy one, but it's something I think we often just don't do because we just keep putting it off. And I think if you do the routine maintenance, you're going to prevent a lot of, problems you don't want to deal with down the road. And again, save on that money. Let's talk about awnings, awning damage. One of the most expensive things that can damage an RV. One of the easiest things that can get damaged on the RV. And guess what? It's also one of the easiest things to prevent from getting damaged on the RV. I don't know how many times you see the joke about, the RVs on Facebook getting damaged and destroyed, and we still see it happening. You think everybody will learn by now, the golden rule, if you leave the RV, you put the awning in. Us personally, I don't care if we're gonna go down to the pool for the day, the awning's going in, because it only takes one rogue gust of wind to take these things, break the arms, pull the bolts out of the sidewall, and it's not one of those jobs that you can DIY yourself. I'll tell you how we know. We had one actually come out going down the highway, so this wasn't our fault. It malfunctioned, it came out going down the highway, it ripped the bolts out of the RV. It took about 5 guys to reinstall one of these. And luckily it was through our insurance, but otherwise it would have been a costly mistake. Guys, it's not very hard. It comes under routine maintenance as far as keeping things lubed up. But as far as preventing the damage, just put it in when you leave, put it in at night, because that's when it's gonna happen. Unexpected storms, you're gonna wake up and the awning is going to be totally destroyed. And the last tip or guideline to prevent damage to the RV would be ignoring the warning signs. Usually these RVs are gonna let you know when something's going wrong, sometimes before it goes wrong. It's gonna be a beep, it's gonna be something grinding, it's gonna be a smell, it's gonna be a small drip. Lots of times, again, if you are inspecting your RV, you're doing your maintenance, you're walking around, you're listening to these things, you're gonna find the problem, the small problem, before it becomes a major problem. Now, I will drive Megan nuts with, did you hear that? Does that sound different? That doesn't sound right. Do you smell that? Does something seem off? But these are great signs. I go back to the tugboat again. When we're doing engine room inspections and we're doing our rounds, it's looking, it's smelling, and it's listening. We always hear something in that engine before it's wrong. We always smell something going on down there before the big problem hits. These are things that, are exactly the same with the RV. And we found numerous problems from, again, lights blinking and seeing something that's not right on a control panel, from hearing sounds when the slide outs are going in, or when you're towing the RV, something doesn't sound right, something's grinding. Listen to those sounds. And probably the most dangerous one is smell. When you smell something that's not right, whether it's something burning, a wire getting hot, a black tank issue. And when we talk about black tank issues, drips, inspecting for water underneath the RV, check behind your basement walls. Many numerous things you can do, but the point is, don't put off the warning signs. If you're questioning something and you keep questioning it, probably its system's going to fail or you're going to have a major problem. So look into it ahead of time before it happens. Guys, I hope these tips and guidelines help you out. Again, you want to dive into more of these things. I mean, we have a whole playlist down below of repairs and maintenance and projects to either prevent this stuff or, again, if it's too late for you, to fix some of it. So go check that out. But as always, appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you next week.